So if you're joining us right now, hi, as you know, when I start these, we're always just doing a quick little sound check. So I'm just wanting to see whether we have been picked up. Come on, Mr. Facebook. Let's go again. There we go. Oh, there we are.
So I'm just wanting to see whether we have
And Nicole, if you can just say hi again.
Hi there.
Okay, there's a slight delay normally. So if you're watching this on replay, you know that you just want to skip ahead. There we go. All right, so we have sound.
Yay.
So hi everyone and welcome to the Savvy Business Show, and I am so excited to have today's guest with us because Nicole has become one of my very best business besties in a very short time, and I'm just so grateful to have her in my life and now share her. And I'm just sharing her with you guys too. So Nicole is a stylist here in Boston, and she has had quite the career. And I am actually going to leave it over to her to tell us a little bit more about that, Nicole, because it truly has been such an interesting career path for you. So if you can share a little bit more with us.
Sure. Thank you for having me today. I am a personal stylist. I'm based in Boston. I've been a stylist for 8 years. And I work primarily with women who are sort of, on the move. They got stuff to do in the world, and they have a message. And I started 8 years ago because I had this experience in my past careers. I was in academia and then in PR, where I saw women in these situations where they were sort of, had the opportunity to showcase themselves. And oftentimes the thing that sort of nagged at them or made them feel like most nervous was like, what am I going to wear? Or how am I going to show up? How am I going to be my brand, right? Because when you're someone that's up to big stuff in the world and then you have to worry about your outfit, that is like another weight. And I thought, as I watched behind the scenes, like, there's got to be a way to do this, that your clothes help you show up, not, oh crap. Right.
And I think we could all relate to that if you're, a female, anybody actually. Well, maybe may not so perturbed with this, but I'm going to an event this weekend, and one of my thoughts, I'm not even really prepared for the talk yet, and I'm like, what am I going to wear? Like, that's been like, I think I might have had that like 90%, because I know what I'm going to talk about. I'm not, worried about that, but I'm like, oh, what am I going to, what should I? So really having someone like Nicole in your back pocket is just so important. For me, I know it is. So.
And I can say that it's not that I came to this from a place of like, oh, I had it figured out. Like when I was in PR and I was thinking of getting my PhD and I had to present and things like that, like I was nervous about this all the time. It was probably a bigger interest in my personal life. Like aside from my career, I did care about these things, and it was fun for me. But as I started to move up the ranks of my own career and then see other women that were professors at Harvard that were, these were really, and this was the thing that in their quiet moments was stripping them of some of their power, quite frankly, I was like, no. Because then when I was in PR before, it was in finance, and men had custom suit makers, right? So if they gained 10 pounds, there was a way to handle that that wasn't like shaming or like whatever. The clothes were made to fit them, not, oh crap, I have to fit into the clothes. Now, I'm not saying everyone can afford custom clothes. I'm saying I had seen this experience of people having custom clothes, so it occurred to me that there was another way to think about this.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
So that was sort of where I got started. 8 years ago, I launched my business. I was initially between Boston and DC, and now I'm between Boston and New York. But my home base is Boston. I have clients virtually and obviously in person, and I love it, and I'm so lucky.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit more about who you worked with in DC. Can we, without naming names, are you allowed to say you worked on certain things or not? So, nope, she's like, the lips are zipped. So that just gave us these are high profile people. Let's just say that. Nicole works with very high profile people. She also has people that are, a stay at home mom, but there's a lot of, if you are someone who are looking for a secret weapon, Nicole is that for you. And like I said, she's done that for super high profile people, so much so that we can't even talk about them. So we're going to move right on.
Also, sort of I do try to think hiring a stylist is super personal, and I really like everybody to feel like their confidentiality is respected. But yes, I have been very fortunate to work with some of the bigger names behind political figures in the Washington, D.C. scene, and it was really cool and fun. But all of my clients are really cool and fun, so I'm really lucky.
Exactly. You do have like super fun clients. And so that's another thing that I think I really value in Nicole is the fact that I know that when we're talking about style or anything like that, or anything I say to her really is super confidential, which I think is another thing that sometimes can prevent us as women from asking for help because we don't know who to trust. And I think that's one of the qualities of Nicole that I truly do appreciate is that she's so trustworthy. I don't even know who her clients are. She really does keep it under wraps. So just coming back to clients and branding, because we're really speaking today more about like how to help you to find your brand and make it stronger. So how do you help clients to figure out their own brand with the help of your styling service?
Yeah, so I think this is a really great question. I think that the idea of personal branding has become really convoluted when it comes to styling. Like a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I do personal branding. So the thing about personal branding in the space of styling is that it doesn't occur on its own. It is a thoughtful, reflective process before you ever go shopping, if it is being done well. So I think there's this idea like, oh, I have a few cute outfits for my photo shoot. This is my personal branding. It's absolutely not that if it's going to be done well, right? It's like if you're going to get a website built and that branding aspect is the colors, the logo, the fonts, you don't just slap it up one day and, that's it forever. Like you have to live with it. That's why many of us, myself included, have had many website rebrands, right? Because sometimes it just doesn't resonate, even if you like it in like out there, even if the idea of it's good, if it doesn't resonate. So, basically my process is to have conversations with clients, not just about where they are now, but where they want to be and where they want to show up. So one of the most important things is sort of at first starting small, because thinking of yourself as a brand can be really provoking. For me even. So the key to it is to start to put some boundaries on it, right? So starting to look at things like what colors really make you come alive. What neutrals are the things that are going to be like the base of your wardrobe, whether you're going to the grocery store or you're showing up, on video like this, or you're going to a photo shoot, right? So for example, I'll use myself as an example because it's, I'm actually going to a photo shoot after this. So I really think about how, if I had to wear one item of clothing all the time, like what would make me feel most confident? And it's a dress, right? Like that's just what I know about myself. Even though my life isn't like super fancy and I don't need to wear a dress, that's what resonates with me. And so it may be a Tuesday where I have no clients and that's how I'm dressed, because one of the things I really want my clients to understand is that personal branding isn't just for how you show up for the rest of the world. It's so much about how, when you're an entrepreneur especially, or your name is your brand, it's how you show up for yourself. Because what I see happening is clients, are in their yoga pants every day, which there's a place for that when you own your own business, but it has to be a choice. It can't be a default. It has to be like, today we're going to do this. And then when it's time to show up, whether it be a talk or a photo shoot, those clothes that they pull out of the closet or they go shopping for in a huff don't feel like them. And that deflates what they just did, right?
And I think that's also where, just speaking about, in the yoga pants, I remember having been a Pilates instructor in my past life, people always used to tell me like, oh, you're so lucky that you get to hang out in your yoga pants all day. But the thing is, yes, it's fun to be in stretchy pants. Like we all love that. But I'm a little bit like Nicole. I like to I feel more confident and alive and, just comfortable when I'm actually a little bit more dressed up and I'm not necessarily in yoga pants. So I actually, while working as a Pilates instructor, often just felt like, I want to wear something more, fun, and I want to have a little bit more makeup on. And so that was definitely somewhere where I started realizing that my brand and who I am is not the yoga pants thing. And now don't get me wrong, I sit in yoga pants quite a bit, but I normally have a fun top over it, and I do my hair and my makeup. So I'm more in the leggings. I'm in the black leggings category. Which brings us to photo shoots, because I think you just brought up a very interesting point there about first getting to feel comfortable with who you are. And I think in business in general, that's so important to realize and really know who you are and ground down into that, because that's eventually what's going to make you unique. And I think what I see a lot happening with entrepreneurs is that they do their first photo shoot because we have to get our headshots done, and they hire someone or they do it themselves, don't know what's happening there. But then I see these photos that are so not the person that I see when I'm just watching them on a Facebook Live or when they show up in person. And I have to say that personally, when that happens for me, if I see one person on your website and then you show up as someone else, that immediately breaks my trust with you. Yes. That immediately makes me go, well, hang on a second. My brain kind of goes like, what's going on? What's happening here? So my brain can't process it, and it's not because I'm trying to be mean or trying to judge you. I'm just sort of wanting to give you that idea of what happens to your customer if you're not really authentically showing up as yourself everywhere.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, go.
So this is why I think personal branding in the styling space is misunderstood, because the first conversation I'm having with the client is, who are you talking to primarily and who are you talking to second? And here's the secret. You're actually always talking to yourself first and everybody else after. But that's something that you have to have in the style. Like, that's the conversation we're having. What you're saying about this breaking trust is huge, because what has happened in the personal branding photography space is we were seeing a lot of, and there was a huge trend in this, and it made me insane, was like, everyone showing up with like balloons and like weird props and like, and they're like a business coach or a life coach. I'm not saying you can't have a little pizzazz, but like, that is not what your day-to-day looks like. It's not what my day-to-day looks like, right? Like that's crazy. And so I think what happens is we are doing what everybody else is doing because that's sort of what happens, right? And then when the client shows up, we're not thinking about the client. We're thinking about, how am I competing with everybody else in my photos? Your client does not care about everybody else's photos. That is the mistake, right? And so really, I'm not saying you shouldn't look like a better version of yourself. Like my headshots, I don't have, I have fake eyelashes on. I'm not going to lie to you. Like,
and that's fine. The little upgrades are fine. I think it is right. This whole thing of like, you still just need to look like you, right? Someone, obviously your photos are going to be beautiful because the lighting will be better and all of that. And the makeup will be heavier as a result, all of that stuff. But I still want to feel and connect with who you are.
And the person that you're going to be seeing, whether you're a coach or however they're going to see you. So here's a really good tip for this. If you're struggling with that, and I get it because all of us struggle with it, is to give yourself about a month to plan. Like there really is a reason why you need time to plan for these things. And I don't just mean who your photographer is or where you're going to be, because people do their outfits last, and that's like the biggest problem, because you can be on a white background, but if your outfit's awesome and it resonates with you and your audience, then you have a great photo, right? But the other piece of it is, ask yourself this question: would you prefer to be the most dressed up person in the room or the least dressed up person in the room? And I think that means, like anytime, show up in any context, would you feel most yourself, the most dressed up or the least dressed up relative to the people around you? Now, I have a lot of clients who are incredibly high profile. I have a client right now who's a New York Times bestselling author who feels her best in a hoodie. And so we style up that hoodie. This woman can wear anything that she wants, and maybe there's an expectation that she shows up a different way, but you know how she feels her best to give these talks and to present her work? In a hoodie. And so good for her, right, to own that.
Yeah.
So her brand is crystal clear. It's the easiest person to dress and the most fun, because I always know that we get to inject her into it because she's clear. She wants to always be the least dressed person in that room. And I have some clients who want to be the most. And if you fall in between, that's great. But that way, when you're getting ready for anything, a photo shoot or whatever, you have a sense of that, right? You have a sense of where you fall.
And I'm also going to say that now, having done some modeling work and whatever, if you are dressed in the way that actually, I've been on some photo shoots where they put me in outfits where I'm like, this is so not me, but okay, getting paid to do this, so we're just going to do it, right? But I don't feel confident standing there. And I think that is what you have to be careful of when you are having these photo shoots, right? Like, you want to get there and feel confident. You want to show up as the badass self that you are, because you are a badass entrepreneur. I know you are. You're great at what you do. And the way that you are presenting yourself to the world should be an extension of that confidence.
Right. It should be. And I also want to add, while we're having this conversation and we're speaking to women, that putting off the photo shoot till you lose the weight is not the way to handle this. So I do want to talk about this because it's something that I don't get a chance to speak about publicly a lot, but a lot behind the scenes. I get it. Like, I really get it. And I have been in that position before. But this is exactly when you want people on your team, right? This is exactly when you really want to be honing in on a stylist that can understand you, hair and makeup people that understand you, and a photographer that understands you, because the way around this isn't to hide. The way around this is to communicate well, because you can be empowered at any size. You can be. It may not be the size you want to be. That's okay. If you figure out what your innate style is, then it really shouldn't matter. And people don't understand this. If you do the work to understand what is really your personal style, and there should be a process involved when you work with someone, there should be steps before you ever go shopping. If it's a good stylist, then you should be able to shop on any budget. You should be able to go to Target and make that outfit work, or you can, go to Saks. It should be able to be translatable, and you should be able to find things that fit and flatter your body, and it may take a little work with the tailor. It may take that, right? I'm a big advocate of that for women taking back some of their power, of use a tailor, right? Like, the clothes should be fitting you, and what's on the rack is a suggestion, right? It's not that's it, right?
No.
So those are some ideas that I think people, we put it off or whatever. And I think, the most important thing about being an entrepreneur is showing up. Mm-hmm. Just get started. You don't have to have it right. We all want to have it right, but just starting.
Yes.
So that's my tip there.
Yes, and I think if you're constantly going to wait until things are perfect and being at the ideal weight is a way of you waiting to be perfect, you're never going to get anywhere.
In a lot of places, right? Let's not kid ourselves. I've done it. If you're trying to be perfect in one place, you're trying to be perfect in all the places. And so you got to have your own number on that.
Exactly. And I see it as like it's an excuse. Something else is going on, actually, that needs to be talked about. And maybe in that case, you want to work with a coach or whomever your other part of your support team is. Coming back to the photographer, if you're working with a really good photographer, I have to say that is something that I think everybody needs to also maybe ask a question about if you're going to be doing photo shoots. A question to ask that photographer is, do you direct people? Because a really good photographer will tell you to drop your chin, turn yourself a little bit this way, because everybody has an angle that looks better for the camera, right? That's like, you can take some photos of some very beautiful people and they don't look so good. And it's all about that angle. And for that, you're not going to know the angle. We all have weird ways of tilting our heads in any case in life. And you really want to get that photographer who's going to be able to give you that direction that's going to put you at ease. Because when you're in the hands of a good directing photographer, you actually relax a lot more, and you know that your photos are going to look brilliant. And that's going to kind of up the work that your stylist just did for you.
Also, you should expect to be taking a lot of photos to get like 2 good ones. I think people get really like, that's why people try to do it themselves. And the problem is they like, well, I took 17 photos or 20 photos. It's like, you take hundreds of photos. You've been on a lot of photo shoots. Like, to get that one that like everybody thinks is amazing takes like an insane amount. So, patience, giving yourself the time, having a photographer that isn't rushing you. The whole day should be planned for a branding shoot. Like, it shouldn't be like, oh, I'm fitting in 5 people. I mean, if it's a quick headshot, that's fine. But, if you're really doing website photos, like, time is really important for you to get comfortable with the photographer, for you to get comfortable in front of the camera. And as you said, for you to learn your angles, because everybody has a good angle.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think also what's really great is once you've done that work of you know who you are, which again, Nicole will say like a stylist is really going to be able to help you. You can also go on Pinterest. I think this is something that I've learned is with website photos, going on Pinterest and seeing what looks you like, what resonates with you, why you're drawn to it. And then also knowing like, is my brand summer, winter? Am I more of, what do I want people to feel when they come to me? Or what do people say they feel in my presence? Even better, right? Because then you're getting into your ideal client. And then going to photos that make you feel that way or that you know will make other people feel that way. And then you can send that to your team, your stylist team and your photographer and go, this is the look that I'm looking for.
Absolutely. So 2 things I really want to hone in there just as practical tips, because I think that this can feel really overwhelming, is you should never be planning a photo shoot with any team unless there is sort of like a mood board. So I've done editorial work as well, and I plan my clients' photo shoots very similarly, right? So there's like a hair and makeup board, there's like multiple like look board, and we may not do an exact translation, but we all need to be on the same page. Also, planning for the location is really critical.
Yes.
I think people mistake this. And we can talk about this later, but one of the most important things that you just said was that you should be asking, and this is scary, I'm not going to lie and say it doesn't make me nervous. You should ask both really good friends and family, maybe 5 clients or 3 clients, someone that's working with you, what like 3 or 4 words come to mind when they think about you, okay? And I know that feels scary. You don't have to do anything publicly with this information, but they're going to give you adjectives that are going to really help you further dig down into your brand and how you make people feel. And anchoring in not just to how you want to feel, but how you want to make other people feel when you're an entrepreneur is the key to really, really solid branding that never feels fake.
Yes. And again, that's where we get the trust factor. And I think that is something that not enough people speak about today is this whole like, your customer is constantly looking at you and figuring out whether they can trust you, right? We want to work with people that we trust. And this is a huge part of building trust.
Well, I think that can feel a little scary to people, which is why they go towards like, what is everybody else doing in their branding photos? So they're showing up on like train platforms with like holding balloons when they're, I don't know, a health therapist or something. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But what you're missing in the feeling of like being overwhelmed by that trust factor or being nervous that like you're not going to get it right is actually it's actually the easiest thing in the world to get that if you're just being who you are, right? Like if you're it's only complicated and hard if you're looking out there. And the other thing though, what you're saying about Pinterest is don't just look for people in your field. So I see this a lot with coaches that I've worked with. They're only looking at what other coaches are doing, or other yoga teachers are only looking at what other yoga teachers are doing in the branding space. Don't do that. Look at what people are doing in totally different spaces, because the reality of the situation right now with online entrepreneurship and just entrepreneurship in general is that it really doesn't matter if you're the founder of a tech startup or you are, someone that has like a cooking blog, right? At the end of the day, what we see happening is that people really want to resonate with who you are as a person. What are your interests? What are your desires? Why do you do what you do? What lights you up? And so it's really irrelevant if everyone's holding their computer at a desk, right? And their photos, like that's not the thing that's going to sell everybody. It's going to be the images that make it feel most like you.
Yes, absolutely. And that actually, like when you're talking to these people that you're going to get the words from, try and pick people who are in your ideal client, like even in your friends group, try and pick the people that are most like your ideal clients. Like don't ask your grandmother and your 12-year-old sister, their feedback
all the time. Right.
Yeah, right. Because this is where we sometimes get unsolicited business advice, right? You can listen to that podcast episode. It will be coming if you're listening on podcasts. It's already happened. If you're on Facebook Live with us, it's coming. So, yeah, because I think we get feedback from a lot of people, and it becomes this thing of who do I listen to? You really want to make sure that you are grounded in yourself and in your ideal clients, so that the rest is just noise. And something that you said there, and I see this a lot too with clients that I work with, my private clients and my mastermind clients. People tend to look in their industry only, and that is a sure way to just become a copycat or not break the boundaries. So really looking outside of your industries, which is why I love my mastermind so much, because we actually do get a whole bunch of people from various industries that can give feedback in an instant, and they all know your business and they're trustworthy. So get your business posse together as well for this.
Yeah, well, I think that actually what you're saying is really true. Having a mastermind group, which is something I just discovered this year, and is one of the fastest ways to clarify your brand. So it's funny how we think we're going to clarify it on our own by ourselves, and it's just not true. No, you absolutely should never be running a business with just your own input. No. Ever. You probably shouldn't be doing much in life that way, but I think you need to trust yourself enough to put yourself around other people, which is why your mastermind group is fantastic. And I think that this is absolutely right. These are exactly the people. If you're not sure where to start, those are the people that you should be bringing this to first. Yeah.
Exactly. So now just moving on to what do you think is the biggest oversight that you see entrepreneurs make when it comes to their own wardrobe?
So there's two. The first one is only dressing for comfort and saying nobody sees me on their day-to-day, because you see you. And actually, the only person that's going to make your business work or not is you. So how you feel about you is the most important factor in all of this. And the second one is, I'm not saying you shouldn't be comfortable, for the record. I just mean, if you're every day you're in yoga pants and you worry, okay, here's how you know it's a problem. If you worry that someone's going to knock on the door, or if a client could see you, you have a moment of panic, maybe you need to rethink what's happening during the day. The other is really not letting themselves plan their wardrobe for the person that they want to be. So I think that one of the best gifts that an entrepreneur can give themselves is, after they sort of figure out that daily uniform that makes them feel great, is if I was in a situation that was my dream situation. So maybe it's winning an award, maybe it's being featured somewhere, maybe it's having a sit down with your dream client, right? What would you be wearing? So the effectiveness of this is not just so that you have something when it's time, because that can happen a lot faster, but also there's real data and research that how we visualize ourselves really impacts how we act in the world, and so how quickly that result comes to us, right? So one of the things I think is amazing about using our wardrobes as a tool is it's actually a way.
Sorry, guys, we just lost ourselves for a little bit, so Bob's going to edit this for us. That's my husband and my little editor. So, okay, you were right in the middle of, so let's start again with, you were saying that, it's almost meditative.
Dressing for sort of the person, and people say it's dress for the job you want, right? It's the exact same thing. And this works in dating, this works in business, this works in all the things. So this is, even if you're not an entrepreneur watching this is useful. Whatever the event is, have that outfit or have a plan for that outfit. I think actually having it is the better choice. But, and wearing clothes that help you feel even if you're not there yet, you are the 6-figure entrepreneur, 7-figure entrepreneur, is the key to getting there, because it's sort of subconscious, telling your subconscious every day that you are that person now, right? And that is going to impact your actions, and that is going to get you to the result. And so I think that the place that entrepreneurs really make this mistake, and this is why I say what you wear every day matters, is because it's a way of programming yourself for the future. And you can change your clothes. It's okay if those goals change. It's okay if, wearing black all the time doesn't resonate, or wearing this color. You get to change it. But having that constant conversation with yourself is really powerful.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm also going to say that if you have that outfit in your closet, it also creates some brain space to just really focus on what it is that you want to accomplish. It just takes away some of the worry that your brain might be busy with, right? So I'm so on board with what Nicole is saying, like having those two power outfits, and also, I don't know, man, I like just dreaming up on how it's going to feel and having that vision for myself, and then dressing into that vision today, right? Because the way we as coaches try and help our clients, or at least how I try and help my clients to solve certain problems for them, is to actually come from, this is already solved. If I was already successful, if this was already done, how would I be feeling? How would I be acting? What would I be saying? What would I be doing? And this is part of that. Like, this is one way for you to get there, is put on the outfit and feel that way instantly.
And you have to get dressed anyway. So people really miss this. Like, here's the thing, guys. Like, you have to get dressed anyways, and it takes just as much time to put on the yoga pants as it does to put on jeans.
Yes, exactly. So true, so true. So what is the most important mindset shift for someone that they can make to start using their clothes as tools to be more confident? I think we kind of did delve into that a little bit, but so what is the mindset shift though behind that, do you think? What's the obstacle that's going to prevent them from, we've now told you all of the benefits of doing this, but what is that mindset shift that needs to happen for them?
Yeah. So, I think it's important to look at where you feel like you're too busy and where you're using busy as an excuse for showing up for yourself. And I think the mindset of like, oh, my family comes first is a big one. So like people will make sure their kids have, their kids are like dressed to the nines, but like they don't have an outfit they could put together that makes them feel good, right? Like I see that a lot. So I think if you think that your life is too busy for this, you need to stop and think about what you're using busy to hide behind. And I would suspect it's not just your wardrobe. So that I think that is a mindset shift, but also just looking at if this feels heavy or hard. And it can, right? And I think we can really judge ourselves for like, everybody has to get dressed every day. Why does this feel hard to me? Let it go, because people like me have a job because of that. So, yes, you're not the only one.
Give Nicole a job, guys.
Yes. No, but I really, like, seriously, whether you hire a stylist or not, like, if you feel like this is just you and that's what's getting in the way and you're beating yourself up, A, you have no energy to go find the things that make you feel great. But B, guys, that's what Pinterest exists for. Like, there's a reason. You cannot be the only one, right? Like, or thinking like, oh, I know, I'm not someone that, like, style isn't important to me. It doesn't matter. Well, maybe it doesn't. I'm not going to say that this is the thing for everybody in the world. It really may not be. But before you decide it's not the thing that you can use as a tool, try to see if it is. Try out a few things, like play. Play. Clothes,
absolutely.
Not saving lives. It's just clothes. You can take them off.
Exactly. Right? Yes, exactly. And I think that's also, if you haven't listened to it yet, Nicole did a really good interview with Tara Newman on the Bold Revolution podcast. Is that what it's called? Bold Revolution Leadership podcast. Google Tara Newman. Anyway, and they were talking about investing in yourself. And I think that is also where we as entrepreneurs will invest everything into our business before we do anything for ourselves. And I think one of maybe a mindset shift that can happen here too is investing in yourself is investing in your business. So you investing money into clothing that you're going to wear and make you feel great is an investment in your business. Oh, and we just got a thumbs up. Someone's like, yeah, we like that. So Nicole, you wanted to elaborate on that. Sorry, you were like, yes.
No, yes. I just think you're right. And I think it's so interesting how easy it is to forget that, how easy it is to think that like the most important things or the thing that's going to make you all the money is behind the scenes, like the email funnel and all the things. I'm not saying you should not do those things. I'm saying if you think that is more important than having 3 or 4 outfits that you can show up to networking events, things like this, or, a video conference with a potential client, then you are sorely mistaken about how important you are to your own business, right? And how important your energy is to your own business. So, no, I mean, I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah. So we're going to like wrap it up there and like leave you guys with like, you know, you are allowed to invest in yourself. I think for me, the key takeaways here were definitely that if I can dress into success, that's going to take us a long way. I think that was very important for me today. So thank you so much, Nicole, for being here with us today. Where can people find you? How do we learn more about you? We're gonna make sure that we link her in the show notes as well. But just quickly tell us, where do we find you?
You can find me on my website, which is Nicoleotchy, NicoleOtchy.com, or on Instagram at Nicoleotchy.
Yay. Lovely. Thank you again so much, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you.